All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon. And in this video, we're going to be in the 168-pound division where we have some real fantasy thinking going on in boxing, where conversations are being had about Errol Spence Jr.'s own team paying Terence Crawford or Canelo Alvarez $55 million to fight Terence Crawford. Why? I understand the speculation, but if you think about it for a second, it doesn't make a lot of sense. But let's talk about that in this video. All right, welcome back to the channel. It's your boy Fanon. And in this video, we're going to be in the 168-pound division, 147-pound division, and talk about some speculation that is out there about the money that is in and available for Terence Crawford to fight Canelo Alvarez on a PBC card where Canelo Alvarez would make $55 million to fight Terence Crawford. Does that make sense? Is that a real thing? Let's talk about that in this video. But before I do, let me welcome you back to the channel. If you are new to the channel, please accept my invitation to hit the subscribe button, hit the bell icon so you can be notified of when we release more videos. And if you are a longtime subscriber and supporter of the channel, thank you so much for your continued support. Okay, so let's look at this. Why are people saying that there's $55 million that will be offered to Canelo Alvarez for a Terence Crawford fight? Here's what it was. Let me see. This was, I think this was before Canelo Alvarez fought Bivol. I think it was before he fought Bivol. Definitely before he fought John Ryder and before he fought Gennady Golovkin. He was offered a fight, I do believe, with David Benavidez. And he was offered somewhere around $45 million to fight David Benavidez. And then as a part of that deal, I do believe, Canelo Alvarez was offered $55 million for a fight with either Jermall Charlo or Errol Spence Jr. at a catch weight of 164 pounds. Now, you can swap two of the names. It could have been he was offered that to fight Jermall Charlo, and then he would have had a choice to fight Benavidez or Errol Spence. But the key part is in the second portion of it, and this was according to Tom Brown, who is a promoter with the PBC, talking about an offer that his promotional company made to Canelo Alvarez, who has a promotional company called Canelo Alvarez Promotions. So those numbers in that offer is very real. Now, what the thought process is that now that Terence Crawford beat Errol Spence, that Terence Crawford can just take that slot in the $55 million offer to Canelo Alvarez. So problem solved, Canelo gets $55 million to fight Terence Crawford. Now, what's the problem with that? Well, sorry to be a party pooper, but there's a big difference between the $55 million for either David Benavidez or Errol or Jermall or Errol, whichever one it was. And here it is. TGB works with the PBC, who represent those guys. You have the PBC, who's run by Al Haymon, who is an advisor and a manager of Jermall Charlo, Errol Spence Jr., and David Benavidez. Now, I think David Benavidez is actually promoted by Samson Leskovich, but at the same time, he fights exclusively on a PBC card and has a relationship very clearly with the PBC and Al Haymon. So when TGB offers this money TGB is offering it to fighters that are managed by the PBC and are signed to the PBC to fight Canelo Alvarez, who is Canelo Alvarez Promotions, right? So where is the connection between Al Haymon, TGB, or Samson Leskovich? Where is the connection between them and Terence Crawford? For them to offer $55 million for somebody that is not signed to them specifically, is clearly working with the PBC and Canelo, to fight somebody that's not signed to them. Why would they do that? That to me sounds like it would be something like, well, hey man, there's money. Al Haymon is going to offer Terence Crawford $50 million to fight Jaron Ennis. When Jaron Ennis is not signed to the PBC, he's not managed by Al Haymon. He's not promoted. TGB is not going to be the one that's promoting his cards. Where's the connection between the people that offered the $55 million, the $45 million for the first fight, $55 million for the second fight? Where's the connection to Terence Crawford? Terence Crawford is not managed by these guys. I mean, he's not managed by Al Haymon. He's not promoted by those guys. He's got Terence Bud Crawford Promotions. I don't know if he's not signed to Showtime past this rematch with Errol Spence. So what's he going to do in order to motivate the people that made the offer to pay him? That's the part that I'm missing. I'm not saying that the fight isn't a big fight or it's not a great, but here's the other thing, even as far as it being a big fight. Errol Spence, Terence Crawford has increased his number of Twitter followers. He's increased his number of Instagram followers. But the fact of the matter is that the fight between Terence Crawford and Errol Spence underperformed what a lot of industry people thought the fight was going to do. It coming in between 650 and 700,000 pay-per-views. That is when you hear Steven Espinoza talk about it, he said, yeah, it did about what we thought it was going to do. And they thought it was going to do that when Terence Crawford was coming off of, I won't say the BLK Prime thing, because I think the BLK Prime thing is more of a matter of the infrastructure of BLK Prime than anything else. 100,000, 125,000 pay-per-views against Sean Porter. So I'm not buying that money is there from the people that is, unless Terence Crawford does something different, like signs with these guys and gives these guys a reason to risk their money, because that's a lot of money to be risking. So Canelo is a known commodity, but Terence Crawford is not a known commodity. You're just going to make it. You're just going to, I mean, in the fact that you know that he's going to generate this type of money, right? And then think about the 800,000 pay-per-views that took place with Canelo and David Benavidez. I mean, and Caleb Plant. Caleb Plant got $10 million for that. $10 million for that fight. Bud Crawford's going to want a lot more money for that fight than the $10 million that Caleb Plant wanted or would fight for, or whatever it is that Jermell is going to get paid. But anyway, it's an interesting conversation, though. I just don't see it happening. Anyway, that's my take on the matter. You let me know what you think in the comment section. And with that, I'm out. Deuces.